We are introduced to Maruo Kaido, an average loser who seems to not be special at all. The only thing that makes him special is his insane strength. His mastery of various martial arts grants him almost superhuman abilities, surpassing normal human limits. Despite perceiving his existence as mundane, Maruo remains oblivious to the hidden reality. Within this world, criminal syndicates, particularly the Yakuza, take on monstrous forms known as Ayashimen, concealing their true identities amidst the regular populace. One fateful day, Maruo intervenes as he witnesses a group of gangsters pursuing a young woman. This woman, Urara, introduces herself as a Yakuza leader, bearing the secret of being an Ayashimen. She discloses the recent demise of the reigning crime syndicate head, sparking a power struggle among these factions. Inevitably, Maruo and Urara encounter a massive onslaught of Yakuza monsters. Maruo's incredible might enables him to effortlessly hoist a car overhead and hurl it at his adversaries. United in their efforts, Maruo and Urara manage to escape imminent danger, prompting them to form an alliance. Crime families split apart, and the whole community is fractured now. Urara explains that now she wants to take over all the crime families and gain control. On their travels, Urara and Maruo met a border guard called Hashihime. Urara and Hashihime talk, and we learn that Urara is the bastard child of Kyo, the crime family leader. Maruo starts a fight, and he goes crazy, throwing punches left and right at Hashihime. Finally, the battle is over, and Hashihime explains to Maruo that he has to train to protect Urara, and that there are 4 main crime families that pose a danger to them and their plans. The Kabukicho region is a place where monsters can gather totally relaxed and without any rules. For Maruo, this is all super exciting as he feels like he's in a wild manga story. Maruo and Urara then go into a bar, and Urara explains that she wants to take over this bar and start her move from there. Maruo then gets into a fight with a fire demon called Inokuma. Inokuma is very powerful, but for Maruo, this is just fun. They start to fight and destroy everything around them. Soon they meet another yokai called Ten. Ten is pretty scared since he is a slave to a big crime family, and he wants Urara to take over. Ten promises to serve both Urara and Maruo since they are so strong. He explains that the people in his village stopped believing in yokai, so he lost his power and arrived in the Kabukicho region. He then leads them to the main office of the building where his boss and his helpers are stationed. His boss gets angry and starts to beat up Ten. Urara gets involved and challenges the boss to a ritual duel with Maruo. If the human Maruo wins the duel, then Urara gets this entire building. The crime boss accepts this and starts to fight Maruo. Maruo, for the first time, takes real damage as the boss is super strong. Maruo starts to really use his powerful strength. Each punch destroys a part of the office walls and floor. Maruo is able to win this match and defeat the yokai boss. Urara finally realizes what Maruo is. He should have died in that battle and in that fall. Maruo is something called a Murabiko. These were ancient humans that hunted Ayashimen, and they had insane power and strength. Urara hopes to use Maruo in her revenge plan, as he is proving to be a very useful tool. Suddenly, 2 members of the Onmyo agency show up. They are strange creatures that take the form of a well-dressed businessman. Chairman Dappo is one of the most dangerous Ayashimen, and currently he is the one in charge of all the crime families. He plans to take over this entire empire, but he has found out that Urara and Maruo have entered his region. For that reason, he calls upon Hashihime and starts to torture her. We see that Dappo keeps other yokai in his office and makes them into furniture and other house decorations. He basically traps them in their body and tortures them that way. Dappo then goes out to speak with the other gangsters and announces a hunt for Urara and Maruo. He wants to be known as the leader, and he does not want anyone to destroy his plans. Ten is helping Urara with the renovations. They have to make the business building look much better. Suddenly, cars start to appear around the building, and Urara thinks that something is happening. Soon after that, Dappo arrives with his men, and Urara is actually scared. Still, he pretends to be totally normal and clueless, but soon Dappo reveals that he has Hashihime as a hostage. Dappo then realizes that Urara is his target, and he plans to take her away. Maruo arrives, and he just wants to protect Urara from Dappo no matter what. Dappo and Maruo start their fight, and it's more of a beatdown than an actual fight. Maruo just keeps charging at Dappo, and Dappo keeps hitting him without any mercy. Urara cannot help herself as she decides to get involved and save her friends. She pulls out an ancient blade that belonged to her family line. In that moment, Dappo realizes that she is the long-lost daughter of the former leader, and he tells his soldiers to murder her right away. Suddenly, Maruo rejoins the fight, and while he is totally covered in blood, he is all smiles. Maruo charges at Dappo and starts to throw as many punches as he can. Dappo dodges most of them, but he starts to feel uneasy. Dappo then decides to ignore him and attack Urara directly. Still, Maru attacks him once again, so Dappo has to throw a giant rock at him. Again, Maru keeps fighting until his body cannot anymore. Urara then orders Ten to activate her sword, and she transforms into a giant beast. Urara remembers how she came to this world. She was manifested by her father, but she never met him. Hashinheim was the one who took care of her, and she always promised Urara that one day she's going to meet her father, but now he is busy with running his crime empire. Urara studied the human underworld and wanted to be the best daughter for her father. Now in the present, we see Urara in her beast form trying to save Hashinheim. Maru is knocked out at the moment, so he is out of the fight. Hashinheim then gets involved in a one-on-one fight with Dappo. Hashinheim charges at Dappo and sacrifices herself. Hashinheim hopes that Maru will protect Urara in the future. Urara takes both Maru and Ten and runs away while Hashinheim sacrifices herself. Urara and the boys are now finally safe away from the fight as the other yokai chase after them. Urara now feels truly sad about the entire situation and thinks it's all her fault. Urara finally decides to admit the entire truth. She tells Ten and Maru that she used them in her game. She did not know her father that well, and also there's no need for her to get revenge. She was just angry and sad. Maru tells her that they are now family and he will help her with whatever she wants, and it's okay to have that anger. They all agree to keep on the mission to take over the crime empire. Maru, Urara, and Ten run into a bike gang of yokai demons. This gang is really dangerous, and Urara does not want Maru to create a mess. The leader of the gang is a yokai called Oboro, and straight away he sends his attackers after Maru. Maru is too strong for them, but Urara wants to deal with this situation in a much more diplomatic way. She explains her origins and tells the bike gang that she needs their help in taking down the crime empire. When the yokai in the bike gang learn that Urara is truly important, they swear to help her. Still, some of them have a problem with Maru since he is just a weak human to them. The bike gang decides to challenge Maru, and also they do not trust Urara. Maru loves to fight, so he is excited, and they decide to have a giant match, and if Maru loses, then Urara will have no support. Maru starts to fight Cotton. He is something called a Itten yokai, basically a speed demon. His speed is so insane that Maru cannot even spot him. The fight is brutal, and Maru takes a lot of damage. Ten, on the other hand, fights a big yokai, who is also in the bike gang. This demon starts to punch Ten as he does not have a lot of power. In the meantime, Maru is still fighting Cotton, and he is just getting faster. Urara starts to help Maru in the fight by giving him advice on what to do. He has to outsmart the speed demon. Maru is finally able to do some damage, but the fight is far from over. While that is happening, Ten decides to push himself as he admires Maru and wants to be strong like him. Ten remembers his past, how all of his yokai friends got destroyed because the humans no longer feared and believed in them. An old yokai told Ten that nobody will ever fear him and that he has to survive if he wants to live. Now in the present, we see Ten putting on a helmet and going after the big yokai. The big yokai thinks that Ten is a total joke, but Ten wants to be like Maru. Maru smiles while he fights demons, even if he is just a regular human. Ten wants to be like that, so he starts using his powers. He manages to make the ground turn into liquid and bikes start to fall down on the yokai beneath. He starts to scare them with his magic. All the bikers that tried to attack Ten are swallowed up by the ground. In the meantime, Maru is still fighting Cotton, who is just moving so fast. Urara decides to help Maru, and using her telepathy, she starts to give him advice in combat. Maru is not in a good position, and he has to listen to her to survive. Cotton just keeps chasing after Maru. Urara then comes up with an idea to trick Cotton and use his speed against him. Maru runs all over the town while Cotton chases after him. This goes along until they reach a giant wall. Cotton's speed is so insane that he cannot control it. He almost slams himself into the wall. He stops just in front of it, but then Maru goes on the counterattack. He slams Cotton into the wall. Cotton is now injured and also impressed. Maru is thankful for this fight, and Cotton praises him. All the bikers, all 2,000 of them, decide to join Urara and help her on her mission. Maru is happy that he finally achieved his dreams of becoming stronger and proving himself. Urara wants to know more about her father, Kyo. While he was a crime boss, she never learned anything about him. We learn more about how he started his empire. He found Cotton and wanted his help. He gave him a home and a family. Cotton and his bikers worked with Kyo, and it was obvious that he planned to expand their organization and bring peace to the yokai world. Then Kyo got sick and died, and it all fell apart. For that reason, Cotton will help Urara achieve what her father could not. In the meantime, the other villains are now on the move, and a new player gets involved. They are called Club Undine. Akari Dappo has started his takeover, and he is gaining more control every day. He is very scary and powerful as he is a flame yokai. Maru wants to train so that he is strong enough for a rematch with Dappo. The crew visits an old sage who decides that Maruo has to activate his inner power. For the next 10 days, Maruo trains every day. He has to make his body stronger and activate his dormant energy. One day, Maruo spots a fire and he goes inside to save a boy. He uses his bare hands to punch the fire and save the child. It seems that Maruo has activated more of his power. Maruo still has to keep training, and now the sage tells him to pick up flaming items to increase his strength. In the meantime, Urara, Ten, and Cotton travel to several regions to find out how much support they can get from other yokai organizations. They are soon asked to meet with the owner of the Kori Hotel. This is a very important leader. Urara thinks that it's a trap, but she decides to go. The hotel is giant and there are a lot of rooms. The owner of the hotel is a yokai called Yobudenyuki. Urara and her group are forced into a room and they wait for an owner. Soon someone appears on the screen, someone who works with Dappo. This Yokia tells Urara that she has to take her crew and leave this region alone. After Urara rejects this, a trap is activated. It seems the human exorcists are planning to seal Urara and the other yokai for 100 years. Maruo and the other bikers find this out and they go to the hotel. All-out war is about to start. Maruo and his friends arrive at the hotel and Urara starts to use her telepathy to explain the situation. Maruo starts to fight the yokai that work in the hotel. His punches have a lot more power than before. It seems that the training has paid off. When he enters the hotel, he is faced by the manager who wants to have a one-on-one duel with him. Maruo accepts this and the manager transforms into Dappo. Using the powers of flame, Dappo attacks Maruo. Maruo now uses his fists to fight back the flames, impressing everyone. He has grown a lot in power, and maybe this time he can actually win. Maruo is then blasted by the manager and his ultimate attack. The manager transforms once more and injures Maruo. Maruo is now on the ground bleeding out. Maruo is now slowly dying and he imagines that the manga writers plan to end him as a character. He then remembers Urara and that he is doing all of this for her. Maruo is able to heal his body because of the training he had with the old sage. He joins his friends in the fight against the powerful manager, who has totally lost control and transformed into a twisted version of Dappo. Maruo and his friends all team up against the managers. Maruo pulls out his fancy fist attacks and creates a whole barrage of attacks. Urara also helps him upgrade his powers during the battle. Together, they are able to take down the manager and bring him back to normal. Maruo is just happy that they are all together and he swears to Urara that they will accomplish their goals. Now their next stop is to finally take down Dappo and his criminal empire.